It's another link for Derby County in this transfer window. We already know it's going to be a big one, and this time Derby County are linked with the Oxford United winger Josh Muprhy. Josh Muprhy was able to score a brace at Wembley to secure themselves promotion to the Championship. Is he going to want to stay around at Oxford? That is a potential option. Or is he going to want to move around? There is a range of interest in Joshua Muprhy, but we'll get into that in just a moment. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on Josh Muprhy down in the comments. If you're an Oxford fan, what do you think he's going to do? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Obviously, his contract is expiring, but shall we now get into meeting Joshua Muprhy and finding out all about his career? So this is Josh Muprhy, if you don't know what he looks like or who he is. He has a brother which plays for Newcastle United, and he has found himself roaming about a bit and has seemed to have found a home at Oxford, despite a turbulent start to the season where he wasn't quite sure if he was going to be about or not, as he admitted on the pitch at Wembley. He found himself being the hero a few times this season, especially in that playoff final against Bolton Wanderers. Now, is he a target that I can see Paul Warne going after? The honest answer is yes. But do I think Derby might be looking a little bit higher? Yes. Don't get me wrong. I think Josh Muprhy has got an abundance of talent and he has attributes which could benefit Derby County. But we already have three mainly wide players in Tom Barkes and Corey Blackett-Taylor and Nathaniel Mendez-Lang. And do I think Josh Muprhy would offer something different to what we've already got? Maybe not. Do I think he's better than what we've already got? Maybe not. But let's get into his career and his situation as of right now. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the like button as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments and I'll catch you in the next part of this video. So here is the link. Because a lot of people often say that I'm just making shit up. So here is the link to Joshua Muprhy from Luke Phelps. Pompey are also keen on signing him. But obviously there is the option of him staying at Oxford United. So here we have it then. He's a 29-year-old forward who currently plays at Oxford United, as I've mentioned. His contract does expire this summer. And there is a few murmurs this morning as I'm recording this video that he is keen on staying at Oxford. Now, obviously, putting in different offers can completely change the complexion of a person's viewpoint, in my opinion. We obviously know that as Derby County fans with Max Bird. Realistically, he would have gone in the summer if there was a valid option, but there wasn't an option for that. So I don't know why it says John Muprhy. It should say Josh Muprhy. Apologies for the typo. But yeah, so let's get more into his career. So this season, he has played on the left wing 19 times, the right wing 3, and then in left midfield and left back twice. He scored 10 goals, getting 6 assists in all competitions, making 38 appearances with 2,312 minutes. He's been a really impactful and effective player for Oxford this season, and he's someone who could slot into Derby County's forward line. Now, if we do take a look at Josh Muprhy's career as a whole, he spent time at 6 clubs throughout his career. Norwich, where he played a lot for the academy, the under-18s and under-21s, before going on to make 108 appearances for the first team. He's also spent time at Cardiff, where he made 99 appearances. He's then obviously most recently spent time at Oxford United, making 62 appearances, as well as playing for MK Dons, Preston and Wigan, where in total he made another 63 appearances, I think, between them three. So he's had a fairly decent career roaming around the leagues. I believe at one point he moved clubs for around £11 million. So he has got something about him. He's made 359 career appearances, 22,223 minutes, 75 goals, 55 assists, 36 yellows and no red cards throughout his career. Now, he's obviously not your out-and-out goal scorer, your out-and-out creator, but he's put up fairly decent numbers wherever he's been, really. 20 and 12 in 108 at Norwich, 14 and 10 in nearly 100 games at Cardiff, 10 and 9 is probably his best spell with Oxford. Then obviously if you look at his under-21s, you can obviously see why he made it 23 and 14 in 53 and then 7 and 10 in 46 at MK Dons. Fairly decent player in my opinion. I quite like him. But where would he slot in to Derby County? So this is his position map throughout his entirety of his career, and this is one of the reasons why I could see him as a valid Paul Warne option. Paul Warne loves versatility from his forwards, and he loves having those players who can move from one side to the other, the players who can play in midfield and play up front, play on either side. He can also play at fullback and wing back, which I think is ultimately very, very impressive, and I think that's something which Derby County will probably be looking for this summer with versatility. Obviously at Derby you can have, in the Championship, you can have 25 considered senior pros, and then anyone under 21 doesn't have to be registered. And I don't think your keepers have to be registered either. So it's important to make sure that your 20 to 25 man of outfielders are able to cover a range of positions, so you're not sort of struggling at any point for depth. And I think Josh Muprhy offers a proper edge to that for me. With being able to play on both sides and all the way through the middle, I think it's massively important that if Derby are to sign someone like Josh Muprhy, that this versatility is taken into account when they're looking at the player. Because obviously numbers can be fudged by positions like this. Like obviously if he's playing at left back, and still putting up good numbers, that's something which definitely needs to be thought of. And I think Josh Muprhy would be an excellent signing for versatility, for depth. But is he going to want to be a depth player? Probably not. I think he's probably going to want to be a starter for whatever team he goes to, which is probably one of the reasons why I can see him staying at Oxford United. Now, if we do look at this depth chart, which we currently have at the moment, we can see that there is spaces for him. There's spaces for him in midfield, there's spaces for him in the forward line, and there's spaces for him at left wing back. So if he was to sign, there's definitely a place for him in the squad. But is he going to sign? I'm not quite sure. I think it's going to be probably a difficult deal to do. Obviously, you've got the emotion of going up with a team, and if there's the opportunity to stay, he's going to probably want to help them stay in the division. But there's definitely an opportunity in the squad for Josh Muprhy to come in if that is an option that Paul Warne is looking at. So what type of deal would it be? Now, obviously, with his contract expiring, that would make it a free transfer. Now, there is rumours of him wanting to stay at Oxford United, which then obviously makes the deal sort of null and void, really. Now, if I was to sign Josh Muprhy with him being 29 years of age, I'd offer him a 2-year deal, and I'd sort of wouldn't sort of promise any sort of game time or anything like that. I think it's important that he earns his way in, especially with the form of Nathaniel Mendez-Lang towards the back end of last season. I think Tom Barkhuizen, before he got injured, was really impressive as well. And then obviously, what can Corey Blackett-Taylor do in the Championship? These are all things which Paul Warne's got to account for when using his recruitment department this summer. It's going to be massively interesting to see whether someone like Josh Muprhy does come in, whether it be Josh Muprhy or someone else. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Herbie Kane, and the argument between that deal at the moment is supposedly to do with whether he'd be a key player or a squad player, because obviously that probably changes what you're offering in wages and bonuses and things like that. So these are all things which need to be taken account by Derby County when they make these deals, and I'm sure that is something which they'll be looking into. So there we have it then. Let me know your thoughts down below about Josh Muprhy. Do you think he's someone that Paul Warne should be looking into? Do you think he'd fit into the Derby County squad? Now, I personally, I like the idea of the deal, but I think maybe we should be looking a little bit higher. I'm not quite sure if Josh Muprhy is necessarily the type of player who's going to take us forward. He might keep us in the Championship, but then in a year's time he's 30. Is he going to be able to keep his legs going, sort of thing? Now, we've seen with Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, he's just got better and better over the past 2 seasons. But we've also seen with the likes of Conor Hourihane that sort of have slipped backwards as they've gone over that age of 30. And obviously players these days can play late into their 30s, but it's just about, is he going to be able to keep going? And what Derby have to think of is expenditure and income. Is he going to offer a sell-on value? Probably not, unless he has a mega season. So that's something which needs to be discussed internally, and obviously I think it will be. But for me, I think it'd be a fairly decent signing based on versatility, although I think we could probably aim higher. It's going to be really interesting to see what Derby County do in this transfer window, and if you want to stay tuned for all of the latest Derby County transfer news and rumours, I'll be doing player profiles on all of them, so make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below, hit the like button, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.